welcome to Mentor Musings. My name is Dennis. I am the producer of Mentor Musings. And in this segment, we like to call Mentor Answers. I ask one question to Brett and JC, and they come up with their answer. They either tell their life experience in regards to that answer or whatnot. So, JC, Brett, welcome. Thank you again for joining us this week. From your entrepreneurs that you mentored this week, what did you learn?
I'll let you take that one first, Jason.
What did I learn? I mean, honestly, I think, and I've shared this sentiment before, I think on some other episodes and with some other folks. The truth is that when you're mentoring, you actually learn sometimes more than you teach. The truth of the matter is, and that's why I always recommend to founders, even in the earliest stage, to try to find a way to be a mentor to another founder. And it feels like imposter syndrome, but by the way, most people feel that when they start their company anyway. But there's a tremendous amount of value you can personally gain from mentoring a startup founder when you yourself are a founder. So number one, constantly learning. And sometimes the learning takes shape in just the sharpening of ideas, as iron sharpens iron, so does one man sharpen another type thing. So just being able to talk through and iterate ideas and kind of have those things go through the wash and then come back as a polished, version of your ideas is important. So there's a lot of learning opportunities like that, but specifically, here's what I would say, is that there's a large margin of error in the earlier stage of your startup for hiring and firing employees. A lot of founders out there, they obsess, and I understand why, with who those initial hires are and that they bring on. And it's important, and you don't want to value the importance of due diligence, but also understand that it is very likely, and I know I can speak from my own experience as well, that you are going to have a churn of people coming in and out of your organization. And the number one reason why that happens is not because of what you are or are not doing as the leader, but it's because a lot of times those people aren't ready to enter the world of a startup. Most people are used to a traditional 9-to-5 job. And entering the startup world, the crazy, malaise of activity and wearing all of these hats, and it's not, it's around the clock sometimes, and the urgency of every moment. Every single decision or indecision has urgency and impact. Most people can't keep up with that. So to this week, I learned from one of my founders how it's important to remember that there's going to be a high level of churn potentially early in your organization, and I don't want you to let that reflect on what your optics are as a company or you as a leader. That's very natural, and that you should expect that when you're first making your initial hires.
Yeah, makes sense. And Dennis, I'll play off that a little bit first. I'll give you two pieces. One is maybe not learn this week, but constantly reminded of the creativity and passion of these founders and entrepreneurs, right? That that's just I'm not wired to think that way, but young, old, it doesn't matter. You can definitely tell the ones that are passionate about the problem that they're solving or what they're building. And as a, unstructured filter, right? I'm betting on the folks that are passionate, right? They may or may not have it, but it's just a constant reminder when I meet with new folks, how that's where the excitement comes in. And two, I think what I've learned is, where you were going, JC, is a lot of them don't have a plan, right? I know you're figuring this out as you go, but man, if you're looking for hires, don't think about why you're hiring it now to solve that specific problem, which you may be doing, but think about how this impacts where you're trying to go. And I think too often, one, entrepreneurs have the passion, enthusiasm. We're going to solve this problem. I need to bring this person in to do X, Y, and Z. But there's three other things, and I don't want to overcomplicate it at the early stage, but if you're thinking about hiring somebody, these are big deals, right? Unless your cash flow is so awesome that you can make a mistake and move on. So I don't want to paralyze from not making it, but just think two steps ahead of what you're going to do with this hire. And, some of the advice that I'll give is the early days, man, don't necessarily specialize. If it's just you and a co-founder, you bring in your first hire, it's got to be somebody that can fill in, wear multiple hats. And then once you cross certain thresholds, you can look at specialization. So I don't know, Dennis, if I actually answered your question of what I learned, but I think one, enthusiasm, passion, love it. But two, the lack of a longer term plan. And that could be 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. If you're going to make the hire on a full time, just think about the longer term aspect of that. And JC, I don't know if you had any follow on to, love your perspective too.
I completely agree, Brett. Making a plan, absolutely critical, particularly when it comes to hiring. Again, while we still want to allow for that churn to happen, you don't want to unnecessarily force that. But to your point, thinking about how those pieces on the board today will be moved into another position tomorrow, and that's what should be happening is you should be progressing. So you don't want to make a hire or make a decision based on your need right now, because once that need's addressed, where does that piece move on the board?
Right.
You got your pawn all the way to the other side. You can't do anything else with it until it switches over. So, but I completely agree about enthusiasm. I mean, I'd say as an entrepreneur myself, and Brett, I don't know if you encounter this, I refresh my well of passion about what I do by hearing others be passionate about what they do. And I think, having done this now for, well over 10 years, I don't take for granted the opportunity that I have and that I get to do, as far as my role with my companies. But when people start to get excited about the problems they're solving and the opportunities that are ahead of them, it refreshes and reminds me, like, oh my gosh, number one, I remember what that was like so early on. But number two, that I still experience that all these years later as well. So I learn and kind of emote from them a lot, get that energy from them when they're excited and passionate about what they're tackling.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's why I love doing what we're doing here, right? With Mentor Musings, 1871, spending that time with folks that are new to it or getting into it. And again, just if we can help turn that enthusiasm into a plan and a structure to help, get through that process. And so, yeah, no, 100%. This is a great question, Dennis. Did we answer what you were looking for?
Yes, you both did. So thank you. And I want to thank all of our listeners as well and viewers. If you liked this episode, you like this format, just let us know in the comments. Hit that button, that subscribe button if you're on YouTube, if you're on Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes. If once we get on there, hopefully this is on there by this time. Just let us know. You can reach out to JC on LinkedIn. You can reach out to Brett on LinkedIn. I'm on there as well. But shoot us a message, send us a friend request, hit us up on Instagram. It doesn't matter. But if you're wanting to be an entrepreneur, if you're thinking about it, you just want that extra kick, or hey, even if it is a side hustle or whatnot, these two guys right here, they know what they're doing. They've had the experience and they can guide you either through our Mentor Musings or through their posts. Just read up on them or reach out. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, JC. Thank you, Brett. I appreciate it. And as always, see you in the next one.
All right.
Thanks,
Thanks. See you next week, JC.
See you, Brett.